was telling the Kirtan college folks I was in Goderich. We had a wonderful day in Goderich, and I just gave like a 20-minute teachings on bhakti yoga and spirituality of kirtan and things of that nature. And it's just in one of those nice zones. And I said, "Does anybody have any questions?" And a woman raised her hand and said, "I said yes." She said, "What kind of a guitar is that?" So in case you're wondering, I'll let you know before we get started. It is a Martin. Okay.
Now, many of the songs that you actually sing in originate from India, and they're often in Hindi or Sanskrit. So do share with us, how did you come to learn the languages and understand the deeper meaning behind the words before you started to actually sing the kirtans?
Sure. Well, when I first started studying yoga, the teacher I was studying with also taught chanting as well.
Okay.
And although I have a medium sort of talent for language, I felt naturally drawn to the chanting. It felt familiar to me. And ever since then, I've studied, for instance, Sanskrit in relationship to chanting. I'm not a Sanskrit scholar. I don't speak Hindi, but I understand it in relationship to the kirtans and the chanting.
Okay.
And I've learned it in different ways. I've learned it from teachers. I've learned it from self-study. I've learned it through the practice of chanting itself. I've been to India several times. I've learned it that way. But it's been a very kind of eclectic means of gathering understanding and information that has, led me to be able to understand and pronounce the mantras,
Now, as we both know, there's so many different types of yoga practices out there. What is your choice of practice, and what does it actually mean to you, and how do you interconnect the two? I know you kind of brought that up in previous questions, but what does your practice specifically mean to you, and what is your practice about? The bhakti yoga, right?
It is bhakti yoga, and I'm also careful not to create a box for myself because when I started practicing yoga, there wasn't as many labels.
Right.
And now there's so many different labels for kinds of yogas, and so I don't typically get involved in labeling. To me, yoga is yoga. Of course, the word yoga is spiritual union, and any activity has the capacity to bring us closer to the divine. So in that sense, and I did mention that, all aspects of life are yoga. But that said, I was drawn into this practice of bhakti yoga, which is the yoga of love. Bhakti is devotional love.
Right.
And it's the practice of loving unconditionally, to learn to see love within ourselves as our nature, and to recognize that in each other and to act accordingly, to serve, that oneness or that love.
Right, and that comes out in your music.
Yeah, and so for me, the practice is in the interactions with others. The practice is through prayer. The practice is through singing kirtan, which within the context of bhakti yoga is very much a foundational practice because, the bhakti yoga tradition realized that love isn't something that comes through the mind, it's something that comes through the heart. So kirtan is a vehicle through which we can shift our attention from our minds to our hearts and thereby live a more heart-centered life or a more loving life.
That's wonderful. And that's a deeper way to connect with that heart chakra as well, right?
Very much so.
Yeah.
And I find all the other aspects of yoga, karma yoga, to serve selflessly, and practicing hatha yoga is very important to me. I don't practice hatha yoga, the physical, nearly as much as I used to, but it's still, for me, important to care for my body, especially because of, what I do and all the traveling and the lifestyle. It's important to maintain that connection.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, your latest CD, Stars, actually just came out in March. Could you tell us what message you're hoping to convey to your listeners in this specific album?
That's a great question. There's many messages. I think in this record it was twofold, and I did a project which I think we're going to talk about later called the Stay Strong Project.
Yes.
And the song Stars is a similar message to Stay Strong, and that is that it's important to acknowledge and attend to the darker aspects of life because they're here. There's darker aspects of what's happening on the planet right now, like war, terrorism, and people who can't, pay for food and things, don't have food. So they're there, and you can't turn your cheek to them. But that the light has the capacity to illuminate the darkness, both on a global scale and within our own lives.
Right.
And I think that's always at the core of my message is to honor the light and to bring light into our lives. And by illuminating the darker places, we can find the joy that we're looking for. Also, a big part of this message and my music in general is always about love.
Right.
And that love is the greatest transformational principle. It's what fuels life. For some people, they get into a habit of allowing their lives to be fueled by things like fear or shame or doubt. And my music is all about shifting that focus to love. And to remind people that what they're looking for is inside of them.
Yes. So I guess your approach is so lovely because you take people to look within themselves and take personal transformations, and I guess that approach will allow for more worldly transformations to occur, right? As long as we transform from the inside first.
Exactly. It starts from within us. In a way, our world is colored by how we see it.
Right.
So if we can transform our perception, then we can transform the world around us.
That's right, and keep spreading that awareness.
Absolutely,
right?
And that's,
And music is a huge way of doing that.
I find that. I find words have limitations, and when you bring music into it, it has that much more power and also capacity to touch, the emotions.
Absolutely.
Which stirs people to make changes.
That's right, emotional changes. Yeah. Now, you have a project called Stay Strong, Keep Your Faith Alive. Could you tell us the significance of that project? What it meant to you? How did you develop it? And what is your actual purpose and significance of it?
Well, Stay Strong was an interesting piece of music. It came to me while I was sleeping, which is a rarity.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And you have
While you were sleeping, so you
while
had
I
a
was
vision
sleeping.
of like a night?
I woke up in the middle of the night with a song in my head, and I pulled out my phone and recorded the whole melody. The lyrics came while I was awake.
Wow.
Yeah. But the initial seed idea came in a dream.
Okay.
And I just thought the song was a special song. The sentiment of the song and the chorus of the song is "Stay strong, keep your faith alive."
That's right.
And it was during a summer where people were really down and blue, both because of the economy, and at that time in the States we had that big oil spill in the Gulf.
Okay.
And so, and I had actually just toured down into the South in New Orleans and that area where it all happened. And I just wanted to put out a positive message to the world, to my community, and to those of us who are, yoga practitioners, and our job to stay upbeat and stay positive. So I wrote the song, and I felt that we should do something special with it. So Mira and I discussed the idea of bringing in our colleagues.
And Mira is your wife.
Mira's my wife.
Who also works with you, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
singer and percussionist.
Yes.
And we were thinking of a video and song that had been done back in the 1980s called "We Are the World." Do you remember that,
Yes.
with Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie and folks? And so we thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we did something like that for the yoga community? So what we did was we recorded the song, and then we brought in many of our colleagues, yoga teachers and chant singers, to sing and be recorded and filmed, and we created a video project, and then decided that we were going to give all the proceeds from the song and video to an environmental organization called Global Green to help support the cleanup of the Gulf oil disaster.
Okay.
And so that's what the Stay Strong project came to be. And it's on YouTube. If you look under Stay Strong Project and my name, you'll find it. Very joyous video. Have you had a chance to see it? The Stay
It's been
Strong?
on repeat.
Okay, good. Yeah, and it's been absolutely magical.
Yes.
So many people have been touched. Their hearts have been touched by that song. It's a strange thing. Everywhere I go in the world, people bring that up to me. They say,
Yeah.
"Wow, stay strong." And
Because that message in itself can mean so many different things to so many different people who are going through, different crises or different forms of suffering in their own life, right?
Absolutely.
Like that message, stay strong, keep your faith alive,
Yeah.
can be, applied to all of us.
well, it's global for any culture, for any
Yes.
religion, whatever your faith is.
Yes.
Like, stay
No matter
connected
what's
to your
wrong,
faith,
yeah.
no matter how bad it looks like it's getting.
Right.
Keep your faith alive. And it's a brilliant song because it's. I feel like it was a gift given to me,
Yeah.
not only in the video and in the recording, but in my live experiences, kirtans and concerts. It brings everybody up on their feet and
Yes.
brings a smile to everyone's face.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, just the fact that it's such a powerful message and has that influence on people and came to me the way it did, for me it was an example of divine inspiration.
Oh, that's lovely. That's wonderful. And when I heard it, I myself was spiritually uplifted through the message. So it was wonderful. And I also got a chance to see Satnam Kaur and Krishna Das, who I also, have heard in different spiritual occasions. How was it like to work with them? Because all three of you have a special talent that you offer in your kirtan chanting. So how was it like to unite in this cause and work with artists in that same regard?
It was gratifying, exciting, and humbling. Because I got to experience firsthand the gifts and the talents of other singers. Sanatram Kaur, Krishna Das, Jai Uttal, Wah, Donna Delore, Sean Johnson, Chantal, these wonderful singers. And I really got a chance to just feel the special gift that each one of them offers. And I think most of all, making Stay Strong, which is loads of fun. We were all at a festival called Bhakti Fest in the States, in California, in Joshua Tree State Park, and we had a room. It was like a little cottage that we were staying at. My wife Mira and I. We just converted it into a film studio, into a recording studio. And all weekend long, we were just on shifts. So we would have another singer come and we would film them. We did this for 3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
So a 3-day long project.
Yes.
And when you were putting the actual song together, how long did that take?
Well, it took Mira and I a few days to record the basic tracks for it in Philadelphia. And then we did all the filming and recording, and then we had to send the recording to our producer and mixing engineer. Her name is Trina Shoemaker, and it took her several weeks to get all the voices to work together. And then it was actually a couple months for the film editor to go through all the footage, watch the footage, and then make sure it matched up with all the vocal performances.
Very nice. And tell me how you felt when you heard it for the first time, and when it all came together. How was that feeling?
It was tremendous. So exciting to hear, and then to see the first edits of the video come together. And what was most fun was just watching people respond to it.
I read some of your responses on YouTube, and it was so wonderful to see how different people were touched by your message and sharing their own life experience.
It was definitely a high point in the creative process for me. I've always felt that the creative process is a great affirmation of spirit, because something magic, something special comes from nowhere. You have to ask yourself, where did that come from? Because it wasn't here a minute ago. And so it always reminds me, the creative process always reminds me of the unknown.
Right, and always keeps you in a place of gratitude, right?
Gratitude, and keeps me on my feet too, because you never know when and where it's going to come.
Like you said, in your sleep.
And that's the beautiful thing, because I could have easily, if I just would have just made it a split moment decision, I could have just gone back to bed. And you never know if I would have caught it.
Wonderful.
David, every successful artist has a special talent that they actually offer to the world. Could you tell us, what are you hoping to offer and convey on a deeper level and on a more spiritual level to your fans, followers, and newcoming listeners?
Well, the first thing is reassurance that they can live in peace and a balanced life that's joyful and satisfying to their hearts and to their souls. That life is a treasure, and a lot of what we're taught in culture is that it has to be a struggle. And
that you have to survive.
That you just have to survive, and that you have to work and compete and get beat the next person in order to get what you need. And through my music, there's enough for everyone, and you don't have to push in that way. You can just step back and allow that your divine gift, the grace of life, to express itself through you, and that life, if you allow it to, will just take you on the perfect journey. That's very important to me. Another is, at all costs, to practice love. To always step back and live from your heart, and realize that the mind will want to judge, But it's better just to not always seize that as truth, but to step back and see how actually your heart is guiding you. To
Be a witness, eh?
Be a witness to the mind and learn how to feel. Where is my heart want me to be in this moment? Not where should I be?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the last thing would be, I have a new song on my CD, a song in the new CD called "We Are What We Are." And it's really a song that uses certain kind of metaphors, like would a songbird, seek a precious tune? Would a rose seek a sweet perfume? Would a rainbow seek beauty? Would any of these things be sought by something which is inherent within itself? Love dwells within us.
Right.
Happiness lives within us. Contentment lives within us. We're always looking outside ourselves for them. That's why I said, would a rose search for a sweet perfume? No, the perfume is within the rose itself. And that's a big part of my message. And that's just not that's even people to yogis who are trying to even find it there. Yoga is good, but we have to remember that what yogas do is offering us, the reflection to find it within ourselves. It's not even going to be found at a yoga class.
That's right.
Because it's with us always.
Yes.
So yoga is very supportive, but it can also, be an obstacle because you think, well, I have to get to yoga class or I'm not going to be peaceful or I have to do this. Our love, our peace, our joy, our happiness is not contingent upon anything outside of ourselves. It simply is.
Very wise. Yeah.
And that's really at the heart of my music, is to remind people that they don't need to get anything or find anything.
I guess you're also trying to help people seek deeper truths within themselves.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And something outside may be a great source of reflection or reminder.
Right.
But it still doesn't come from that thing.
Yeah, it's not
it comes
the
from
ultimate.
within you.
Yes. Wonderful.
David, I just want to thank you actually for this wonderful interview and our discussion today. It was lovely, and I'm sure your fans, followers, and all the people that are attending the concert tomorrow are going to love to hear this interview, and as well as connect with you on a more personal level, as I'm sure your music touches a lot of people.
Thank you so much, David, for sitting down and speaking with me.
Wow, that was great. We're all done. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Yeah.